Princess Kate skips Easter service as King Charles says he's doing his best after greeting well-wishers. Plus, Kate conspiracies linked to Russian disinformation campaign as it's reported that Prince William asked for Archie and Lily to come to the UK. And author Tessa Dunlop reveals how Prince William is coping and why Kate is so important to the monarchy.
And a lot who know the family will sort of say, she's the winning ticket. She holds it together.
We got that plus so much more in today's Royally Yes. Hey everyone, I'm Christina and that's Christine, and welcome to a big week of royal news. The King Charles stepped out for royal Easter events while the Princess of Wales did stay behind, which we knew was happening.
Yeah, I think it was so nice to see King Charles greeting people on a walkabout. He seemed really overwhelmed. We'll talk more about it later, but I think it's a sign of happier, more joyful times to come.
Definitely. Before we dive into everything, Linda from last week said it's far more sensational news that Catherine at 42 has cancer than 75-year-old Charles. Plus, she has 3 very young children. She had every right to insist on privacy, even if only to protect her and her family's mental health. Totally agree. There's so many. She did what was best for her and her family, and everybody at this point should probably respect it.
Yeah, and I do agree that it's much more shocking at her at such a young age in what appears to be very good physical health to have this diagnosis versus someone who is older. Just statistically, it's more likely. And but we're thinking of all of them, of both of them and their whole family.
Definitely. All right. Well, like you said, King Charles and Queen Camilla celebrated Easter at the Royals' annual church service amid his cancer treatments. Crowds gathered in anticipation outside of St. George's Chapel in Windsor on Sunday, March 31st, to share their support and get a glimpse of the king. During the ceremony, he sat in the sovereign seat, which is situated near to the front of the altar, while his family took their usual places in the stalls. When Charles and Camilla, who was wearing a green coat dressed by Anna Valentine and a hat by Philip Tracy, when they left the little over hour-long service, they actually delighted awaiting crowds as they shook hands and spoke to well-wishers lined up at Windsor. Somebody asked, somebody said, "Get well soon, Your Majesty," one woman said in a video shared on Twitter, and he said, "I am doing my very best." As we know, Kate and her family decided to spend Easter at home with their family, but it was nice to see King Charles out and about and greeting well-wishers, and I'm sure that meant a lot to not only him, but to everybody that was there.
Yeah, I think it seemed like the walkabout was a bit of a surprise for King Charles. He exited the church and seemed really surprised to see so many people waiting for him to greet him. And I think, he's been in quite a lot of isolation for his health, for his immunity, and to just take the opportunity to speak with people and to have them say such kind things, I think was probably a huge morale boost for him.
Definitely. All right. Well, Sarah Ferguson was in good spirits after celebrating Easter with the royal family as well. She wrote on Instagram, "Happy Easter. Let's share light and laughter and color this Easter. What traditions will everyone be celebrating today?" At the service, which was, like we said, also attended by other members of the royal family, including Princess Anne. Ferguson made a rare appearance with her ex-husband, Prince Andrew. What did you make of Prince Andrew stepping out for Easter services?
This is another difficult one where everyone kind of wants him to not step out for these family events. From a PR perception, it's just, we kind of don't know that he should be included, or just, we don't know that he should have this platform in the spotlight. At the same time, it's sort of a private family service. It's a really difficult thing. I think times like this, we talked about it also at Christmas. It's difficult because on the one hand, it's supposed to be kind of a private family event, but on the other hand, it's very much on a public world stage. And so as much as I don't like it, I can almost understand it. I do think that Sarah Ferguson's joining him to sort of, she's generally well liked. She's a bit more bubbly and sort of, I don't know if it smooths over the situation, but at least it adds another element to the conversation. I just don't know what to do with these events because really the people don't want to see Prince Andrew. They don't want to be reminded that, he's living in the Royal Lodge and still living out this very princely lifestyle. But on the other hand, he's part of the family.
Right. No, definitely. And negative press is going to continue to mount as Scoop comes out on Netflix shortly. Soon. Of course, that is the movie all about his disastrous BBC interview. So I'm sure that there's going to be even more spotlight on the royal family that they don't want. But, he kind of did it to himself. Right. Well, the king spoke about the importance of friendship, especially in a time of need, in a pre-recorded audio that was played in his absence at the Royal Monday service in the UK's Worcester Cathedral on March 28th. He said that Jesus set an example of how we should serve and care for each other, and that we need and benefit greatly from those who extend the hand of friendship to us, especially in a time of need. I think this probably this message probably felt deeper in so many different ways, considering everything that was going on during this time, because he didn't mention Kate, but his words were thoughts to have reflected the world's response to his and Kate's health battles.
I think that so much of what we've heard from him lately, he's given several statements. We've had these really nice messages from King Charles, and they feel very personal, slightly vulnerable almost, and just in a way that we haven't really seen before. They don't seem like stuffy, formal messages from a sovereign. They really feel like kind, thoughtful words from someone who's clearly going through a difficult time, but very appreciative of everything that's going on, friendships and the kindness that he's received.
Yeah, no, it seems like a lot of people, now that the news is out there, everybody has kind of changed their tunes. And now it's much more of a friendly discussion going on online. People are trying to kind of reach out and find ways to kind of cope with it themselves. And I know that you kind of spoke out on your Instagram as well. And I know that you've probably gotten a lot of comments about how people are kind of coping with this, right?
I did. I had so many interesting conversations after the Princess of Wales shared her diagnosis, of people feeling like, wow, if this could happen to someone who appears in such good physical health, it could happen to anybody. And so I sort of undertook that in a challenge to take care of our mind, body, and spirits, as the Princess of Wales dedicates her time to caring for her mind, body, and spirits. And I'll be fundraising for Cancer Research UK and Stand Up to Cancer UK over the next 30 days. So if you find my Instagram, you can find links to donate to that important cause. And it's just about getting outside, doing little things to take care of yourself. I'll be walking my dog Monty every day for 30 days because cancer is indiscriminate. It can happen to everybody. That is so apparent to us right now. And all we can really do is take the time to prioritize ourselves and prioritize our own health. Otherwise, if we don't take care of ourselves, who's going to do it? And we could find ourselves in a similar situation.
No, yeah, and you're so right. Especially as two busy moms, you kind of always put yourself at the back burner, but it's so important to prioritize your mental health. And I think what you're doing, Christine, is so wonderful. And I definitely wanted to make sure that you were able to tell everybody what you're doing, and so everybody can get involved.
Thank you so much. If you find me on Instagram at @ByChristineRoss, or on Twitter, I tweeted the link as well at @ByChristineRoss. You can find out more about what we're doing, the 30-day challenge, and to donate to the fundraiser so we can raise some really important funds. My dad was diagnosed with cancer, and it was really innovative research that saved him for a really long time. So this is really important to me. I was very touched by the Princess of Wales and the King's messages. I know we all were. And really, it's 1 in 2 people will be diagnosed with cancer. This affects all of us. And so I thought if we could come together, take care of ourselves, and raise some important funds, at the same time, it would be, a powerful step forward. So no more gossip, no more conspiracy theories. Here it's like fresh air and green smoothies and, putting our best foot forward.
I love it. I love it so much. And everybody, like you said, make sure you follow Christine at @ByChristineRoss. All right. Well, moving on to Queen Camilla, because she spoke out to the public for the first time after Kate came forward with her cancer diagnosis. She was offering a hopeful update after Kate publicly announced her cancer. And she did this at the Monday service. She says, "I know that Catherine is thrilled by all the kind wishes and support." I think this is wonderful because, obviously Kate is going to take some time to herself and be with her family, but it's nice that we get these little updates here and there. And it's nice that she appreciates all the warmth and love that she's been showered upon since she kind of broke the news.
Yeah, I think this really shows what a close-knit family they are. I mean, obviously Queen Camilla is not going to say nothing, but they are quite close. They are, they are a very close-knit family. And I think just hearing that really helps assuage people's concerns. Like, okay, Kate probably is just resting. There's nothing more sinister going on. And it's nice to think that they have a close relationship because all of them need a lot of support right now.
Definitely. All right, let's move on and spill some royal tea. And Tom Bower, royal author, has spoken out and said something pretty surprising, that Kate and William have requested that Archie and Lily come over to the UK, spend some time with the family. As we know, Harry will be spending time supposedly spending time in the UK in May because of the Invictus Games, but they want the family to all come together. I don't know if I believe this, but I mean, he's a credible source. He really is.
Yeah, this is, Tom Bauer is a very credible source. He's known a lot of things before. And I think this would sort of make sense. There's been a lot going on in the family right now, a lot of really life-changing news, and that can bring people together. And I'm sure, I mean, everyone can think about their own nieces and nephews or their cousins, their family. It's nice to get the children together so that they can spend time together when they're young. So I can definitely see these conversations happening, inviting, if you're coming over in May, please bring the kids. We'd love to see them. That sort of, family connection would not be outside of the realm of possibility.
No, it's so true. But it's also a security risk for Harry. As we know, he doesn't want to bring his whole family over because of security. Meghan really hasn't stepped foot in the UK in quite some time. So not sure if maybe she will come, but it would be that would be the story of, kind of the year, really, this road to forgiveness after all of this and such a dark time within the royal family. It would be nice if everybody could come together. Like you said, sometimes terrible news does bring a family back, but we'll have to wait and see. So after Andy Cohen fell hard down the Princess Kate Middleton conspiracy theory rabbit hole, he is doing his best to crawl back out. He took to his Radio Andy show to offer his mea culpa, telling listeners, I just want to say I am heartbroken by the news about Princess Kate. I think someone on Sky News called me a numpty during that whole conversation, and they were right. He's one of many to kind of backpedal their statements because, he did kind of fan the flames. I mean, when that picture of her came out at the farmer's market, he tweeted, that's not Kate. He talked about the affair rumors and things like that. So he was definitely fanning the flames. And it seems like now he had his foot in his mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. And when he has such a big platform, he has such a huge following, people really like him. Saying those things, it's not just sort of, tabloid gossip. People are going to believe what he's saying. So it is kind of him to backtrack. Numpty is such a British term, which means, you're sort of, look it up, Google it. But I am glad to see a lot of people backtracking. Hopefully we can all learn from this. And in the future, when someone's undergoing something terrible or there's loads of rumors, we maybe, make better choices in how we talk about people's personal lives.
Totally. Make good choices. Well, this was a crazy story. So as we're talking about all of these conspiracy theories, the internet was flooded with them. And some of the speculation has since been linked back to a Russian-based disinformation campaign. So Martin Inez, who's a digital disinformation expert working at Cardiff University in Wales, told the New York Times that 45 social media accounts posting claims about Kate could be linked to a disinformation network that posted pro-Russia and anti-Ukraine content. He said it provokes an emotional reaction. The story was already being framed in conspiracy terms, so you can appeal to those people, and people who support the royal family get angry. His research seemingly pointed to the Russian disinformation operation, which has come to be known as Doppelganger. The New York Times reported that since 2017, Doppelganger has been linked to the creation of fake websites that impersonate actual news organizations in Europe and in the United States. The report comes days after UK's Telegraph reported that China, Russia, and Iran were fueling disinformation about Prince William's wife in a plot to destabilize the nation. This is crazy.
Crazy. I can't see how this would destabilize the nation. Right. It send everyone into a frenzy. And actually, I think it sent Americans into more of a frenzy than it sent the UK.
It's true. I mean, we were talking about that. And because I know that you've said pretty much the British press gave her the space that she wanted. The palace gave the timeline in the beginning, and it seemed like the British press respected that, while America was like, where is she? Where'd she go? Why isn't she telling us? Why isn't she telling us her every single move? When really, this is what they told us from the beginning, and everybody should have listened. But the conspiracy theories went wild, and the fact that this could be involved is just nuts to me.
This was a crazy story. I mean, crazy is the word for everything that's gone on with these conspiracy theories. The 27-part TikTok, series. I mean, it's been such a crazy. This is going to be a moment in history, guys. There's going to be a history book somewhere that talks about this insane moment in time.
Really, you're so right. Well, the Princess of Wales has been leaning on Prince William more than ever during this time. A source tells Us Weekly William is trying to be there for Kate and helping in every way he can. He's been doing schoolwork with the kids and spending time with them in the afternoons and evenings. According to the source, the children are coping as well as can be expected. They say they know their mother is sick and is trying to get better. It hasn't been easy for the future king, with the source adding that William feels helpless and scared and has been asking other members of the family to fill in for him so he can be present at home. Well, we know that they are very hands-on parents, and they don't really have a ton of help. Probably not as much help as one would think. So I'm sure this is a very trying time as he's trying to balance, his wife getting sick, how to deal with the children, how to deal with being a future king. It's probably the weight of the world on his shoulders at this point.
Yeah, we know the Princess of Wales has said in the past that her children are her priority. Mm-hmm. She is the default parent. She's the one that the school calls when the children are sick. She's the one doing most of the school pickups and drop-offs. And now she's probably not able to be a part of anywhere near as much as she was before. And so William is probably having to step up, and it can be tough to feel, because it's not just taking time off of work. It's not like he's calling his boss at some, marketing firm to say he has to take some family leave, that he's the future king of England. So there's a tremendous amount of weight on him. But we know the Princess of Wales said that having him by her side is invaluable support. And so the best thing for them right now, especially now, it's Easter holidays. Lots of people are taking time as a family. So they're together as a family. And I just hope that they're able to take the time, don't set any alarm clocks, rest, play in the garden, watch lots of movies, and just be together as normal as possible.
As normal as possible. You're so right. Well, to speak further about how William is handling the mounting pressure and why Kate is such an important asset to the royal family is author of Elizabeth and Philip, A Story of Young Love, Marriage and Monarchy, Tessa Dunlop. Take a look. I mean, how do you feel like William is dealing with Kate being sick, his father being sick, pressure to kind of keep the monarchy afloat during this time? It's got to be a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Yeah. Now, William, it's funny. I've always seen in that partnership, if I may be bold, and some will shout me down, as Kate being the real asset. And a lot who know the family will sort of say she's the winning ticket. She holds it together. She's a delightful woman. She's well brought up. She's from a highly functioning family who actually chose to take on this role. She actively chose it. I mean, yes, she fell in love with William, but there was an element of agency there, which William didn't have. He was born into the job. I think for him, his relationship with his role and his destiny are trickier. They're more complex. I think there is a level of entitlement there that Kate doesn't have because of the circumstances into which she was born. We know he has a bit of a temper. He's a man. And I think perhaps he doesn't have his father's softer, more compassionate side yet. Sometimes that comes with age and experience. So I'm holding out for William. I think he's got a lot on his plate. He's got young children, sick wife, sick dad, memories of losing his mum early. So there's a lot at stake, but he does need support, William. And I think when we've seen him out there on his own, it's not just because he's, middle-aged bloke. He does look a bit lonely. And so we're all really, I think, as a nation, super gunning for Kate to get better, not just on a humanitarian front, but the monarchy needs her. She is this incredibly poised, glamorous. She's a weird synthesis in some ways of the late Queen, but with some of the glamour of a Diana without Diana's, I suppose, ability to connect. And yet, because of this video, she's almost overridden what was previously an almost too poised front. So yeah, she's pretty untouchable at the moment, I would say, Kate.
Do you feel like William and Camilla have really bonded during this time, and maybe even Charles and Kate? There's reports that, he treats her like the daughter he never had. And, there was kind of always that icy relationship between William and Camilla, but, they're doing so many events together now. I'm sure it's kind of maybe mended that relationship a little bit.
I think that Charles is incredibly grateful they've got Kate in the family. Make no bones about it. She's a really successful example of an incomer who's married into the family well, and there aren't many of those. Diana, Meghan. Fergie even, pretty shaky. So I think, the King's very grateful for Kate. She's a lovely girl. They've clearly known each other for a very long time, don't forget. He was dating her for nearly 10 years before they got married. Yeah. So there is a familiarity there. And he will be, I think, more than impressed with the way she's handled herself. And just having cancer when you're in your 70s is a very different game from having it in your 40s. Let's just be honest. Yeah. If you've lived your 6 square years in 10, what's the expression? Then I think, well, you clearly want to keep living. You're the king, for goodness sake. You want to be out there doing your job. It is a different kind of challenge altogether when it happens in your 40s and you have a young family. Camilla and William, I think they've learned to rub along, don't you? Yeah. The funny thing is, it's a bit like the EU grouping together and getting on better when Britain leaves with Brexit. Mm-hmm. It's a bit like the Sussexes leaving the royal family. I think it's drawn them all closer together. They've kind of battened down the hatches. You know, when you've got not an enemy, that's to frame the Sussexes as an enemy, but when you've got someone out there kind of lobbing criticisms at you, it pulls you together. And I think that's what we've seen with William and Camilla. And they're out there doing their job. They're professional. Mm-hmm. Know what goes on behind closed doors. And by the way, if anyone tells you they do, they don't. But if they're able to put on a show like that, they're not professional actors. We don't have a Meghan in our midst anymore. Then I think clearly that's functioning. So while there may be too many sick people in the royal family for their liking and too few young foot soldiers in the royal family for our liking, where it's functioning is in the relations between the players who are left behind. I have an outstanding sadness around the Sussexes. I'm optimistic that will be cured with time.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that Kate is such an important asset, but like when you really think about it, she was one of the most famous women in the world, but now I feel like everybody knows who Kate is in all aspects of the world.
Right. I mean, yes, totally.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up with our pint-sized palace. And Eduardo Mapelli-Mosey's ex-fiance, Dara Huang, has no qualms about co-parenting her son, Christopher Wolfe, with Princess Beatrice. She told Harper's Bazaar UK, Wolfie has had 2 sets of parents trying to help him on both sides. And I just think the more the merrier. I feel lucky to have such positive people around him who really embrace him because it didn't have to be so easy. She was previously engaged to Mosey before their 2018 split. The exes welcomed Wolfie back in 2016. And during her recent interview, she went on to say that she doesn't understand exes who hold their children as collateral, adding that doesn't make any sense. She explained that she's focused on making a happy home and lifestyle for her son. And it seems like that is exactly what they are doing.
Yeah, it's been so nice to see Wolfie at some royal events, some family events. We've seen him out and about with Princess Beatrice and her husband, Eduardo, Edo, as he's called. And it really seems like he's fully embraced by Princess Beatrice, which I think is lovely. I think all step parents should obviously be fully embracing that. And I love that they're co-parenting in a really healthy, wonderful way. And this is just a great glimpse into sort of behind the scenes, that family dynamic, which we always love to see.
Definitely. We'd love to see it. We love to end on a positive note. That is it for this week's episode of Royally Yes. Christine, thank you so much as always. Yeah. All right. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you next week. Bye.